Zebec recently made a post saying, "What's next for Zebec?" Well, I think this right here actually leaves some massive clues. And let me explain why I think that way in today's video, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything and nothing I say is financial advice. I don't think they're necessarily talking about the price, by the way, when it comes to this, but I think they're talking about some fundamental improvements and maybe something that might have to do with their tokenomics. Let me explain why. Because Zebec is actually referencing an upcoming discussion that they're going to be having with something called Uphold, right? And they say it's going to be happening on September 3rd, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, or should I say 4 p.m. UK time. Now, we have to think about this. Zebec is having an ongoing thing with Uphold, basically, in a sense where Zebec alongside them are sponsoring soccer matches, or should I say football matches, in the Serie A in Italy and also the Bundesliga in Germany. But there's a little bit more to this, because one thing we do know, though, is that later on this year, Zebec, it's going to have a vote to decide what to do with the Zebec that they have reacquired so far, because we do know that Zebec has roughly reacquired around 0.5% of the maximum supply of Zebec, at least again so far. And a lot of that Zebec is sitting in a treasury and some with Uphold institutional. Now again, I just said Uphold institutional, right? So in terms of what's next when it comes to Zebec, I think this gives a little bit of a sign when they make a post like that to maybe hint at the fact that they're thinking about what to do with that Zebec that is locked up. Because let's think about this. Zebec uses a part of their revenue that they get from their products and services to actually reacquire Zebec. Now, here's the thing. By doing that, that of course creates this deflationary pressure, right? Because when they reacquire that, or when they acquire that, I should say, it is being taken out of the circulating supply. But here's the thing. This reacquired Zebec is just sitting there. It's not necessarily being burned in a massive way. It's not necessarily being allocated to something, right now it's just sitting there. So of course, people are wondering, okay, it's being taken out of the circulating supply, which is cool, but what are they really going to do with it? Because sometimes people want to know what really happens to it, which is why there's going to be a vote later on this year to decide what to do with it. Could they burn it 100%? Who knows? Wouldn't surprise me though. But again, the fact that they're going to be having an upcoming discussion with Uphold, I think it could point to what they might want to do with that Zebec that is being locked up. But also, I think this could hypothetically maybe indicate that they might be thinking about a new sponsorship avenue. Like in a sense where, let's think about this, right? When we take a look at Zebec, we already know what they did alongside Uphold, like I mentioned before, in the space of soccer, or should I say football. But who knows? If they want to do something alongside them and let's say go into the NFL, wouldn't surprise me at all. That's the thing. So they could be thinking about this type of stuff. So when people like to tell me that Zebec's done, it's cooked and all this, I don't really have that mindset because it seems like they're still thinking about things, right? And them saying what's the next when it comes to Zebec, I don't really know for sure as of right now, because again, the discussion is going to be happening on September 3rd at 4 p.m. UK time, or should I say 11 a.m. Eastern time. So again, they're going to be, having a discussion later. But hey, you know what? To me, I think that this is pretty impressive nonetheless, because they're thinking about what's coming next. A lot of other projects out there don't care about what's happening next. A lot of them are still living in the past. A lot of them are still saying, oh, wow, in the past, the project did this and did that. We don't need to improve. Some projects are, behaving that way. But when it comes to Zebec, that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like they're still thinking about the future and still thinking about, hey, what's coming next? And I do like seeing that. Keep in mind, the Zebec's not playing around, right? A project that does not care about the future won't be doing this type of stuff. So long story short, what's next when it comes to Zebec? It could either be another partnership announcement, who knows, another sponsorship or advertisement avenue, who knows, or maybe them talking about what to do with the Zebec that has been reacquired. So those are like my 3 hypothetical possibilities, but again, we're still have to gonna wait and see as to what they really do discuss later on September 3rd. But again, that's just my hypothetical sort of guess as of right now, but I digress. As of right now, the main point of contention is, well, the price is still not doing so good. I get that argument though. I mean, even though Zebec has recovered almost 20% in the past 30 days, the market cap is still at around 200 million. Considering how the peak last year was around 540 million, we're still almost 3 times away from that. But here's the thing. Zebec, unlike the peak last year, now has well over 100,000 holders, has almost 110,000 holders. Not only that, it now has a partnership with Stellar and as well as Ripple. And not to mention as well, this year they released the super app, both the mobile version and the desktop version. So actually, when it comes to Zebec, it's doing way better right now when compared to its peak last year. Keep in mind, at its peak last year of around a 540 million market cap, it did not have an aspect of ISO 20022 yet at the time. It does now though. So Zebec has improved by a whole lot when compared to last year, yet it's a couple times cheaper, some people like to arguably say. But to me, you know what, I don't mind. If let's say something that I like became less expensive, I'm not going to complain about that. Now, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but that's just kind of my mindset that I have in real life, right? If let's say this G-Shock had a discount, do you think I'd complain? Absolutely not. Why would I do that? This is the G-Shock Frogman, by the way. It's the GWF 1001JF. That's the name of the, model. But yeah, if let's say this had a discount, would I complain? No, I wouldn't. Because why? I like it, but also on top of that, it's an ISO certified diver's watch. I'm not joking. So again, when it comes to Zebec, I'm a fan of it, and I'm also a fan of my G-Shock. That's the thing. So when it comes to this space, I'm not going to complain. Now, am I still waiting? Yes. Am I still holding? Yes, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Do I know when things will recover? No. There's just no way I can know that. But one thing I do know, though, is that I am waiting. But in the meantime, I want to be waiting for the projects that I'm a fan of. And when I see Zebec later on this year planning to have a vote to decide what to do with the Zebec that has been reacquired by them, that's something that I do like, because if they do actually decide to burn maybe even all of it, I'm very happy when it comes to that. Because in theory, that would permanently remove, right, around 0.5% of the maximum supply, at least that we see of as of right now. Which I don't mind though. Now again, 0.5% approximately may seem very low. Like people are like, dude, who cares about that? But here's the thing. That could matter, especially if they keep doing it over the long haul. So again, it would be like a small victory that could, create a good morale, I would say, because it would set a precedent to what comes next. Now, of course, they're going to have to set the terms and whatnot, and then there's going to be a vote to decide. So there's still a long journey when it comes to that, but that's something that I'm looking forward to. And considering how we're already in August as of right now, almost in September actually, and the fact that this vote is going to happen allegedly before the end of this year, I'm looking forward to that, right? But you know what? If Zebec just goes back to its peak last year, which is almost 3 times away, I have nothing to complain about, because I'm already going to Sizzler at that point, right? The restaurant. Bitcoin going back to its peak last year, it's not over a 2 times movement, by the way. Not even a 2 times movement, actually, with where Bitcoin is as of right now, but I'm just saying. But Zebec going back to its peak last year, almost 3 times away. That's just what I realized. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything, and I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very fantastic day. It's been Lee the Captain.